We have to change radically right now. The only way out is to go deeper into our collectivity. We just have to be together. And again, it's a transition between one place and the next, backwards, which means you're not leading with like where you have control. You're leading into the unknown.
The backward march is seen as a very important highlight of KlezKanada. It's symbolic in a way, and it's very much part of what we're all about.
The backwards march is almost the epitome of everything that we're trying to do at KlezKanada, about taking our history and studying it and making informed choices, and yet creating something new that we internalize, that is ours and that lives on in the future.
I remember the first year of the backwards march when Jenny Romaine
had a very important role to play in the development of the backward march.
When Jenny Romaine makes the happening, you want to be there. There's going to be really good stuff, interesting stuff you have no idea that you've never seen it before. But she just brings out like images, and she's incredible.
Jenny Romaine is a deep researcher who goes deeply, thoughtfully into issues, finds out so much of history and knowledge, and brings it together in unique ways. Really, with her lead and her motivation and vision, created this backwards march event.
While doing it, and when they got there, they would put down their instruments. And I don't think they lay down like this, but it looks kind of cool. And you may say, why did they walk backwards? Does anybody know the answer? They walked backwards. According to Uri, why? I like your attitude. Why? The future of our race. Right.
Well, I was doing a workshop at KlezKanada about how Jews walk together. And the reason I was doing that was because I would get asked a lot to make parades and processions in Jewish context, and they would turn out to be things that look like Mardi Gras or Caribbean Carnival. And I was like, aren't there? Because I didn't grow up in the tradition. So I spoke to Itzik Gottesman, and then he said, oh, and there was this great story from this guy, Uri Schreter, about a small town, how everyone in Stanishes used to line up by the body of water, and then they would all walk backwards. And I was like, what?
We lived in Jerusalem, 97, 98, and I was doing field recordings. And I don't remember how exactly I found out about Uri Schreter. This was just one of the things I recorded from him that day, or maybe we met a couple of days. He lives in Bnei Brak. When Jenny asked me about how Jews walk, which was the theme she had come up with, I immediately thought of this custom that he had mentioned.
My role in the creation of the backwards march was rather simple. Jenny gave me a cassette. I transcribed this whole long piece, but I said, this is too much. So I cut it down to 2 very short repetitive sections. I was balancing both verisimilitude, but what is something that everyone could learn, everyone could play, because the whole idea is to include the entire community of KlezKanada, literally from 6-year-olds to 96-year-olds.
We went around to every single instrumental class, every single ensemble, and we just asked the teachers, could we just have 5 minutes of one session to teach this? And we taught the melody, and then we practiced walking backwards.
And I remember there just being a very good vibe and her explaining about what she was going to be doing with the backwards march later on. Something cool was about to happen. And then I remember her standing up on a ladder at the lake in front of everyone later that night. And then she taught it to us. And then we all picked it up everyone very quickly, because it's a whole camp of klezmorim, and did the tradition, an instant link to the past.
I guess people just loved doing it. I think people were like, oh my gosh, this is a perfect combination of something really old and something we haven't done together. And it feels good to do something different. And it was big, it was powerful, like because it was 400 people. Everybody having the experience for the first time. So I don't know, I think like there was something about it that was like, oh, this is so unusual. Like, oh, we walk backwards here.
So it worked perfectly, actually, physically and symbolically. Perfect, but it was a very good transference from one old world to new world.
The entire mission of KlezKanada and the purpose of the work that happens there in terms of connecting with the past and connecting with Jewish traditions and musical traditions, the culture that KlezKanada is rooted in is something that is meaningful to everybody who participates in it and connects us to both past, present, and future all at the same time.
It was such a fun thing to do at that first year. And then once we did it the second year, and then the third year, once it happened, I guess that's when it became, oh yeah, now it's a thing.
That really became very much an integral part of what we're all about. One of the highlights of our week up north.
I quell when I see the way it's become embraced as if it is the property, the communal genius of KlezKanada. And it is. This is our cultural legacy.
No one else does this, as far as we know. And we've been doing this for, 2 decades almost. And it's like, it's very precious. It's ours. It's like our little secret weirdness.
What's really interesting is the way it continues. Because now every year, the teachers don't bother teaching it to every class. Enough people know it, but you see these 12-year-old kids teaching the 10-year-old kids, here's the piece that you're going to be playing.
I think it's a nachas thing for me.
We raised 5 children in the KlezKanada world, and if there's a theme song that represents KlezKanada for them, it's this backwards march. Wherever we are, you can meet KlezKanadians from anywhere, and you can sing that melody, and
Brings you right back.
Yeah.
One can't say enough about the communal aspects of the backwards march. You're playing with the person right next to you or the people around you, but then that shifts, and it's really a way that we all connect with each other.
It's a way of taking the community that's in various places at different times over the week and bringing us all together into one moment where we're all doing the same thing.
It's the only time in KlezKanada where everybody is in the same band.
The rest of the week you're kind of running around and you're in this class and you're in that class and you see that person and you see that, and it's kind of like nice to just have everyone together and be like, oh, we're all here, this is great,
And the main word here is community. It's a custom that immediately forms a community, and in that sense it has been a fruitful transition from the shtetl to KlezKanada, in the fact that the custom itself brings everybody together.
Doesn't matter how you celebrate Shabes, we all start celebrating Shabes this way.
Because we straggle in, and this one is hungry, and this one has been studying nothing but Yiddish language for a week, and this one's been dancing, and everyone's coming from their own thing, and this one had a terrible, reaction to the food, and this one fell in love, and
oh, the meatloaf was too salty, the meatloaf was too green.
Maybe 1/3 of the people are just like, I just want to keep playing this backwards march thing all night. And then other people are like, I really want to start singing Nigunim right now. And then other people, want to play another tune. So it's kind of like this melting pot sort of thing that's going on.
And all of a sudden, everyone comes from these different places to this one thing, which accomplishes its goal to bring us together as a community.
We thought that having a young violinist on the roof of the dining hall play a tune, do whatever is necessary to give it backdrop.
I was learning the fiddle and I was terrible at the fiddle, but no one really cares, no one hears you.
the roof of the dining hall is kind of a gentle slope. Not gentle enough for mommy, but gentle-ish.
And Mike said, hey, I got a ladder.
Ay, ay, ay.
You could climb on the roof, be a little fiddler on the roof. And I'm like, well, yeah, that sounds glorious.
I think that, you know, that the culminating moment of the march, once everybody reaches that area in front of the dining hall, that has become, I think, more and more exuberant over the years, and more of a kind of group hug moment where everybody clasps arms and hands and sings together. And that, I think, has evolved quite a bit, and it's probably reflective of the extent to which KlezKanada has cultivated that sense of togetherness and group hugness, if that's a thing.
That's the most sort of collective symbolic switch over moment. We stop individually playing our instruments, and then we move into the chain, the circle of our arms around each other, singing Nigunim to welcome Shabbat.
I think that wackiness at the end, that has now evolved into like a general party atmosphere. People doing horas or circle dancing and doing whatever they want.